Or maybe not even in practice, maybe in meeting rooms or stuff like that?
Well, I challenge them all the time. And Josh Estiswall and myself, he's my assistant, we are constantly putting pressure on them. And I call it cooking in their kitchen a little bit. I try to get in their kitchen, especially when they're tired and they make a mistake, really getting after them, getting the shoulders way down with some pressure on them, So I try to create pressure while we're out there on each one of them to play their very, very best. And listen, it's not okay to throw the ball just a little bit off target. I'm like, why didn't you throw it on target? I know you're hot. I know it's 100 degrees or whatever. You got freaking, Jordan Jones or whoever's trying to grab your face mask and you don't throw it on target. But that's the whole point is you create pressure, you create a game environment. And then all our drills, we're knocking the crap out of them. We're throwing them on the ground. I mean, Josh does a great job of punching them in the ribs when they throw. So they kind of get simulated some stuff as far as being hit and without, able for them to get hurt. So, yeah, we're trying to do everything we can to create pressure. And it's been 5 days of install. The mental part of the game right now is going crazy with them all. And the heat and the pressure and everything. And that's what I want. That's what I want to create. And then I want to see them when they do something wrong come out of it. And I tell them to wipe the board clean. Clean the board. Let's go with a white piece of paper. Forget what just happened. I know I'm going to be in your ear about it, but let's go ahead and let's get ready for the next play and let's go execute that one the very best we can.
How do you balance that against building confidence? If they build their own confidence going into that first game?
Well, there's a fine line. And again, there's times when they do things really well that I'm chest bumping them, I'm picking them up, loving them, high-fiving, and you overemphasize that. To do something poor, I can't believe it. We just scored, and now you just turned it over. We lost the game. You didn't focus. You go through this exact scenario that they're going through, trying to keep them even keel all the way through practice.
How is this quarterback competition any different than previous ones you've been a part of?
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. The room really likes each other. They're a group. You can ask the strength coaches. Like all summer, they were all leaders. They're all together. They're all working together for a goal, and that is that whoever's out there, we're going to root like crazy, and we're going to go win football games with whoever's out there. And that's the mentality I've been trying to get in that room, and we've got it. And I want to keep that, no matter who's playing. And that's the one thing I'll say that's different is these guys truly, truly care about each other. They want to see that guy go have success that's out there, and that's big time in the room to have that kind of atmosphere with all of them.
Has that been missing?
Well, it's one time. Everybody has different personalities, and so sometimes you get some. Sometimes you get, and the answer is no. But I've never seen it where it's this high before. Okay, so it wasn't like somebody was wishing somebody would do poorly. Somebody maybe wanted to play, but I really truly think they've bought into the fact that whoever's out there, we're rooting like crazy for them. And when I get my chance, I'm going to do the very best I can.
Is that because they both think that they will get a chance, at least in a game situation?
I told them in the last 10 years, guys, I've played 2 quarterbacks every year. So, it's just part of it. When you get your opportunity, what are you going to do with it? Whenever it is. It may be the first snap of the season, it may be whatever snap of the season, but when you get your opportunity, what are you going to do with it?
And to that end, do you reference what happened last year, in the last 2 years with Steven that much, or you can't beat that drum every day, though, right?
Right. I don't go through it, but I said if they don't, Gunnar got to see it firsthand.
Right.
So, it's one thing I've brought up one time, but I've also brought it up with multiple other positions, other quarterbacks at other places. So I've given them the scenarios. They've bought in. They understand that when it's their time to play, it's time to, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do?
What's something you're not doing right now you want them to do?
Well, I'll tell you this. They're really doing everything I ask them to do. Right now, I kind of like where they are. We hit a mental wall. We hit our last day of install. Terry probably hit it a little bit more than Gunnar just because Terry's hasn't been around as much as Gunnar. But the bottom line is that they're both competing and they want to do so well. I love that about them. And now it's going to be my job to fine-tune them as we get ready for that first scrimmage on practice 8.
You had mentioned early, I think it was in the spring, you'd love to see like a 65 to 70% completion rate. Does that still seem reasonable to you now that you're far enough in?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no reason in our system we can't do that. And Gunnar and Terry, after the spring, and this is just team drills. This has nothing to do with 7-on-7 or anything like that. Terry finished 66%. Gunnar finished 75%. which is incredible. Now, don't get me wrong, we're playing against our own defense, and it's a little bit different in a real game. We also count drops, so completion percentage is different than target percentage. So sometimes you'll have 7 or 8 drops in there, which will lower the completion percentage, but he's throwing it where he needs to and on target. So again, I want to continue to see. There's no reason why we can't be in a 65 to 75% range in completion percentage in targets. In decision, I like to see at 90%. We're in the 80s right now, so that's mental right now. We're still missing a couple reads here and there, and we got to continue to work on that.
You guys were so good at taking care of the ball last season compared